So in this video, we're going to talk about calories. So the first thing is, what is a calorie? A calorie is simply just a unit of energy. So more specifically, it's the amount of energy needed to heat up 1 litre of water by 1 degree Celsius. Where do we get calories from? Well, we get 4 calories for every gram of protein that we consume. The same for carbs, 4 calories per gram. Then for fats, it's 9 calories per gram. And alcohol, it's 7 calories per gram. So let's talk about calories in versus calories out, because this has a huge effect on our results. So in short, if we burn more calories than we consume, we will lose weight. And when you combine this with smart training, the large majority of that weight will be body fat. Then on the flip side, if we consume more calories than we burn, we will gain weight. And again, combined with a smart training program, a good portion of that weight will be muscle mass. So this is why tracking our daily calorie intake and making sure we're eating the right amount of calories for our goals is one of our 3 nutrition rules. To understand your calorie needs, first we need to know what you're trying to achieve. So in other words, what is your goal? And there are 3 main options when it comes to our calorie intake. And the first one is maintenance calories. Maintenance calories is when the number of calories you consume matches the number of calories you expend. This results in our weight staying roughly the same. Looking at this chart, the dotted line that you can see at the top the dotted line that you can see at the top is the amount of calories this person needs each day in order to maintain their weight. So that's 2,500 calories a day, or a total of 17,500 calories per week. So if this person eats 2,500 calories a day, then you'll remain roughly the same weight, as their calorie intake has matched their calorie expenditure. So maintenance calories is when calories in matches calories out, and this results in us being a stable weight. Okay, so next is a calorie deficit. So expending more calories than you consume, and this is vital if your goal is fat loss. Now, if you're like most people, you tried loads of different diets, and some will have worked and some didn't. But whether you realize it or not, every diet works was because of a calorie deficit. That's how every single ingredient diet on the whole planet works for fat loss. There are no exceptions. They all work by controlling your calorie intake. No. So here are some examples. First of all, you've got the Atkins diet. This diet works by restricting the amount of carbs you can eat each day, which causes you to consume less calories. Intermittent fasting, this works by only allowing you to eat during a relatively short window of time, which often results in you eating less over the course of the day, therefore consuming less calories. Then you've got the 5-2 diet. This allows you to eat normally for 5 days, then you have to fast or eat less than 500 calories a day for 2 days. This obviously means that 2 days a week you're barely eating any food, which of course results in you consuming less calories over the course of the week and puts you into a huge calorie deficit. You've got the ketogenic diet, which is pretty much 0 carbs allowed. So you've eradicated 1 macronutrient from your daily diet, which leads you to consume less calories. Then paleo, in its purest from paleo, removes all calorie dense processed foods from your life, meaning that you are consuming less calories. Then lastly, you've got Slimming World. They use a point system to control the amount of food you eat every day, which if you do it right, will lead to results, and that is purely because you are consuming less calories. The list could go on, but I think you get the idea. All diets work for fat loss by controlling your calorie intake in some way or another. When it comes to fat loss, calories mass, and there's plenty of science to prove it. Sorry, I said that wrong. When it comes to fat loss, calories matter, and there's plenty of science to prove why. In fact, in 2017, there was a study that basically reviewed all of the available scientific literature and came to the unsurprising conclusion that for weight loss, the calories in versus calories out model is strongly supported by all available scientific evidence. So let's take a look at the calorie deficit. Again, the dotted line is the amount of calories per person. Again, the dotted line is the amount of calories this person needs each day to maintain their weight. So 2,500 calories a day, or 17,500 calories over the course of the week. Now, let's say this person only consumed 2,000 calories a day. That's about 500 less calories a day that their body needs to stay the same. You created a calorie deficit, and over the course of the week, you've consumed 3,500 less calories than you've expended. Now, as a rough guide, 3,500 calories equals around 1 pound of body fat, which means this person should now be on track to lose about a pound of body fat a week. Okay, so there are a few different ways to create a calorie deficit. The first is to lower your calorie intake, like we just showed in the chart. Second is to increase your activity levels, which is something we'll talk about in a later video. And the third, probably most common way, is to use a combination of the both. So keeping a slightly higher food intake while at the same time increasing our energy output by being more active. So for most people, this probably won't apply too much, but we are just going to discuss the calorie surplus. All right, so let's take a look. This is when calories in is greater than calories out, leading to weight gain. This usually happens in two instances. First, if we're overeating and over-consuming calories and gaining body fat. The second, if we're purposely in a slightly calorie surplus with the aim of providing our body with just enough calories to build some muscle mass. So let's take a look at this chart again. Just like before, the dotted line is the amount of calories this person needs each day to maintain their weight. So 2,500 calories a day. Now let's say this person consumed 3,000 calories a day. That's about 500 calories more each day than their body needs to stay the same. This means they've created a calorie surplus, and over the course of a week, they consumed 3,500 more calories than they've expended. This will lead to weight gain, and with the right training, a good portion of this can be muscle mass. But for most people, over time, this is what leads to the big gains in body fat. But instead of being in a consistent calorie surplus, like you can see on the chart, what often happens is the weekend causes the weight gain. So as you can see on this chart, all week this person is roughly eating. So as you can see in this chart, is roughly eating the same amount of calories they need to stay the same. Sometimes it might even be a little less. Then on Saturday and Sunday, they blow over the target by 1,000 calories each day by having takeaways and alcohol. And now they're in a calorie surplus for the week and gradually gaining body fat. So look, calories matter, especially when you're trying to make positive changes to body. And that's why we want to track each day and get as close as you can to the calorie targets that your coach has set for you. So that is all for now. Watch the next video for how to track your calories.